Agreed to. I call the member for Clark.
Well, Deputy Speaker, I haven't changed my view in the last 5 minutes. I'm still firmly of the view that you can't make this stuff up. I mean, the facts of the matter are really quite simple, and that is that the company Global Switch stores defence data, and Global Switch is Chinese-controlled, and Global Switch have the contract until 2015. I mean, they are the facts of the matter, Deputy Speaker, and they are alarming on so many levels. I mean, the obvious level is security. Surely in 2021 we should be acutely aware that information is every bit as valuable to this country as land and infrastructure. It's the beachhead of World War II. It is vitally important that we must do everything in our power to protect it. There's also the issue of our sovereignty, Deputy Speaker. I mean, we're almost abandoning our sovereignty by allowing a Chinese-controlled company to store our defence data. Surely we should be asserting our sovereignty and showing the world, and particularly countries like China, that we will always assert our sovereignty and we will always do everything in our power to protect it. There's also the issue of the government honouring its promises. I mean, the now Prime Minister, then Treasurer, 4 years ago, said that this matter would be remedied. He made a promise. It's a promise that has not been delivered on, and that should concern us all. There's also the perils of us trying to do national security on the cheap. Now, I'm the first to say we shouldn't waste money on defence and we should spend that money that might be saved elsewhere. But that doesn't mean we do anything to compromise our national security, and we certainly don't do national security on the cheap. When I was in the army, we had an old joke that, "Oh, better watch out, your rifle was made by the lowest bidder." Well, I think we've got a case of that in here. You know, we look for any company from anywhere in the world, controlled by anywhere in the world, so long as it was cheap. And you can't do defence on the cheap. And there's the issue of supporting Australian businesses. Now more than ever, government should be doing everything they can to promote Australian businesses and supporting Australian businesses. And now more than ever, when we're acutely aware of the importance of self-sufficiency, this is exactly the time when we should be fast-tracking changing this contract, getting our data away from a foreign-controlled company and giving it to an Australian company, promoting Australian jobs, promoting profits in Australia, helping shareholders in this country. That's what we should be doing. Deputy Speaker, this is not about any one country. I know my honourable colleagues have spoken about China, and it's understandable that we're very focused on China at the moment, but we should be having this conversation about any country other than Australia that is being given excessive influence in this country. I mean, for heaven's sakes, that dreadful COVID Safe app, complete waste of money, complete dud, and I never downloaded it, and I said I wouldn't download it at the time. The data from that, for what it's worth, is stored by Amazon, an American-controlled company. So I'm not taking, seeking favourites here or picking on any one country. I'm saying when it comes to government data, and particularly sensitive data, and in particular defence data, it must not be stored by any foreign-controlled company. And let's wrap a bit of context around this, Deputy Speaker. It ain't like this is the first thing that's come along that should worry about us. The member for Dawson has spoken about the Port of Darwin. I mean, you've only got to go to the Port of Darwin website and it says it's a defence port, but yet it's leased by a foreign-controlled company for the next 99 years. And what about all the broad-acre prime agricultural land that we've allowed to be sold off to foreign companies and foreign-controlled companies? And what about the natural gas distribution network on the mainland, owned by a foreign-controlled company? Just not good enough, Deputy Speaker. Now, I do acknowledge the Treasurer, on account of the coronavirus pandemic, has cracked down on the security vetting of foreign investors. But I do worry that, pandemics come, pandemics go, and we'll go back to the old ways. We must ensure, the Treasurer, the Prime Minister, the government, the next government must ensure that in future all foreign acquisitions are carefully scrutinised from a security point of view. And if there's even a whiff of threat to our national security, including our economic security when it comes to investing in agricultural land and other assets like the Van Diemen's Land Company, Australia's biggest dairy producing asset, when there's even a whiff of threat to our national security, our military security and our economic security, the government must say no. That's what the community expects the government to do. That's what we need to do in the future, and they can start by getting this contract off this company storing our defence data.